interesting story the other day. Well, it was a couple months ago, and it was about this mother that allowed her son to go, and it was in New York, so this is the big metropolis, this huge city, and she allowed her son to take the train, the subway, to school every day by himself. So you can imagine, I believe it was like maybe not a second grader, but a third grader, a young child, taking the train to school every day. He had like 5 stops or something. And in a way, this was such a big deal. And this was, a big deal to my mother, who I was watching this with. And this is, again, a big deal to the public in general that said, how could you be so abusive to your son? How could you tell him that, yeah, it's okay to go out there? Well, don't you want to protect him from everything that's outside? And that was the opinion of my mother. I'm sure we've all heard it before. Don't talk to strangers. Be careful of pedophiles, because they will get you. And they're on every single corner. But how are we supposed to meet new people if we can't talk to strangers? How is that a healthy way to live, being afraid of every person you meet? Because I can tell you plenty of times, I have probably been so scared of different people I've encountered throughout my life, especially as a child, and thought to myself, don't talk to that person. That person is going to do something bad to you. That person is going to try to take advantage of you because you're young. And I never thought for one moment that maybe that person is trying to help me, trying to guide me. Maybe that person is literally trying to give me directions to somewhere, or is trying to tell me, don't do that, or don't do this. Don't cross the crosswalk if it's a red light. And I feel like my mother, and society in general, being so scared of letting children talk to strangers. And maybe it's not, maybe the pedophilia aspect of it is just a front. Maybe it's a more deeper meaning. Maybe it's about, not that our parents don't want us to get molested, and that's a horrible thing to happen, but maybe they're afraid of us losing our innocence. Because when we talk to strangers, because in a way, all our teachers are strangers until we get to know them. They're just strangers that we're allowed to know. They're strangers that we're allowed to talk to. Maybe society and our parents specifically are afraid of us not being able, losing our innocence, losing who maybe they are so attached to. Because I know I have a little sister, and my parents are so in love with my little sister. Maybe they're so in love maybe with the idea of my innocent little sister. And I can tell you, from my experience, I am very scared for her to enter the teenager-esque era where she's just going to become so apprehensive, and there's going to be boys, and there's going to be all sorts of drama. And I can relate to that. I can relate to that idea. I don't want my child to change. I don't want them to talk to strangers and maybe understand a little bit more about life and how it really is. I want them to keep their innocence. But we can't do that. We have to. Not be abusive and let our children do whatever they want, but we have to expose them. Expose them to things that are important to grow and learn. Because remember, our parents don't know everything. Maybe when we're kids, and maybe this is a byproduct of the fact that they didn't let us talk to strangers, we think our parents know everything. And then when we get into school or high school, we learn, our parents maybe have a narrow view just as narrow as ours. And let's not think just about our parents not letting us talk to new strangers as in just people on the side of the street. I think when I read books and when I listen to music, I'm getting to know somebody. I'm getting to know a stranger, possibly a man or woman that's died thousands of years before I was born. Take the Iliad, for example. That's a fantastic book. The prose and the way that book is written is beautiful. And I feel like I connect to that person. I can learn from the way they write, and I can learn from them as a person. But they're a stranger to me. But that doesn't mean that I should be scared and afraid of the knowledge that they could bestow on me. That doesn't mean my parents should keep me from reading these books or listening to this music. It means they should be responsible, but understanding that their little child, their innocent little boy and girl, has to grow up and has to start talking to strangers, whether it be people, whether it be art, or whether it be anybody of their choosing. Thank you.
What did you do differently that time?
I made it. I just like did.
Did you do anything differently?
I just wrote like less. So what I did was I did like pedophiles, and then I. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Let's talk about
pedophilia. Ooh, did I handle that well though? The molesting
yes,
thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let you. Yeah.